All right, so we're diving into Deadpool today.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it is, our listeners shared an article all about how Deadpool, became aware,
Self-aware.
self-aware of his comic book existence.
Right.
And we thought that would be a cool thing to unpack, separate the facts from the fan theories and all that good stuff.
Definitely. Yeah, he's a very unique character.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he talks to us, the readers.
Breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah, exactly. Breaking the fourth wall.
But he wasn't always like that, though.
No, not at all.
Right.
The article mentions that early Deadpool, he was more of just like a comedic parody character.
Yeah, he was making fun of all the, serious superheroes.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Much more straightforward, and then things got a lot weirder.
Well, yeah, I mean, he became a much more significant character once he became self-aware.
For sure.
Yeah.
So how did he get there?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
The article points to his time at the Weapon X facility as a major turning point.
Right? Same place that Wolverine got his adamantium skeleton.
Exactly. Very shady government program.
Yeah. Top secret.
Lots of horrible experiments.
Yeah, and, those experiments, they weren't just, like, physically brutal.
Right. They really messed with his mind,
Yeah.
His healing powers, they were unstable and constantly battling his cancer cells.
Right.
So he was left scarred, like, both physically and mentally.
Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah.
It's interesting to think about, before Loki even enters the picture.
Right.
That those experiments at Weapon X, they really planted some seeds of doubt, I think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
About reality.
Imagine going through that kind of trauma.
Oh, my gosh.
It would definitely mess with your sense of self.
Right.
And your perception of the world around you.
Absolutely. And then on top of all that, he starts suffering from memory loss.
Right. Well, at first I thought it was,
Because of his powers.
Yeah, his unstable powers.
Right.
But of course, with Deadpool, there's always a twist.
Of course there is.
It was later revealed that a scientist from Weapon X was abducting him.
What?
And using drugs to wipe his memories.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so they're adding like another layer of manipulation and confusion to his already fractured reality.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're talking about psychological torture.
Yeah, that's intense.
What's a far cry from, your typical supervillain tries to take over the world plotline.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think that someone could be subjected to that.
Yeah.
Like that level of manipulation. I mean, it makes his later breakdown and, and awareness.
Right.
Almost understandable.
You know what I mean?
In a strange way.
In a strange way, yeah. Yeah, you make a really good point. I think that background is essential to understand why Loki's intervention becomes such a catalyst for Deadpool.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about Loki.
Okay.
Deadpool number 37. That's where things get really interesting.
Yeah, they team up.
They team up, and Loki, the god of mischief, he reveals the truth.
He does.
To Deadpool. Yeah. And he's brutally honest about it, too.
He doesn't sugarcoat it.
No.
He's just like straight up, none of this is happening.
Wow.
There is a man with a typewriter.
Just like that.
Yeah, he's very blunt about it.
Wow. I mean, I kind of admire his direct approach.
Yeah.
But, Loki's decision to reveal the truth, it's a fascinating one.
It is.
Was it simply a mischievous act?
Right.
Or could there be like a deeper, more manipulative agenda at play?
Yeah, it's Loki.
I mean, come on.
You're talking about.
Yeah, this is Loki.
Yeah. Well, and what's fascinating is that this revelation, it completely changes Deadpool's behavior.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he becomes more callous.
Interesting.
Fearless and nihilistic.
Okay. I mean, I can see that.
Yeah.
If you've suddenly found out your entire life was a fabrication,
right?
How would you react?
Yeah, who knows what you would do?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that this realization, it doesn't just like make Deadpool a villain. He kind of takes things in a different direction.
Okay.
And that's where his awareness becomes truly unique. He grapples with this knowledge.
Yeah.
And ultimately finds a way to kind of embrace it.
Okay.
While still maintaining his sense of self and purpose.
That's kind of cool. I mean, I think that's what makes him so relatable.
Yeah.
For
sure.
We all have moments where we feel trapped.
Right.
By forces beyond our control.
Like we're not really in charge.
Yeah. And we're like questioning our place in the universe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But he doesn't collapse under the weight of this existential crisis.
He doesn't.
No, he uses it.
That's great.
To fuel his unique brand of humor and chaos.
I love that. Yeah, it's like he's holding up a mirror to our own, anxieties and
Yeah,
existential questions.
absolutely.
But with a lot more fourth wall breaking and katana wielding action.
Of course, of course. That's
Yeah,
a great way to put it. Yeah. And that's what makes Deadpool such a compelling character. He's this walking, talking paradox,
he is.
this fictional character
Mhm.
who's aware of his fictionality,
Right.
but he's still grappling with these real emotions and struggles.
It's so true.
Yeah.
Okay, so to recap,
Yeah.
Deadpool's journey to self-awareness,
Right.
it's a mix of trauma.
Yeah, from those brutal Weapon X experiments,
Right.
manipulation from the scientists who wiped his memory,
Right.
and a mind-bending encounter with a god
Right.
who may or may not have had ulterior motives
Yeah, Loki, who knows?
for revealing the truth.
Exactly.
But instead of becoming a victim
Yeah.
of these experiences, Deadpool uses them to kind of forge his own unique path.
I like that.
Yeah, he embraces the absurdity of his situation
Yeah.
and finds a way to make it his own.
That's awesome. Okay, so that's just the beginning.
That's just the straw.
We're going to delve into how this self-awareness actually enhances Deadpool's character
Right.
and makes him even more relatable.
Absolutely. Let's explore that.
Okay.
What I find really interesting is that
Yeah. What is it?
it's almost like by acknowledging that he's fictional, he can push the boundaries
Right.
and challenge the rules of the comic book world.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like, hey, if none of this really matters,
Yeah,
why not have some fun with it?
exactly.
But it doesn't mean that he becomes completely detached from reality.
No.
The article mentions that there's a pretty dramatic scene where Deadpool actually gets his hands on the Infinity Gauntlet.
Oh, yeah.
That all-powerful artifact.
A lot of power
Yeah.
in those little stones.
Yeah.
What does he do with it?
Well, instead of going on a power trip or something,
Right.
he uses it to confront the writers and readers
What? He's calling them out.
directly.
Yeah.
He accuses them of exploiting his misery
Wow.
for entertainment.
That's a heavy accusation.
Yeah, it's like he's calling out the creators for the pain and suffering
Yeah.
that they put him through.
Even though it's all for a good story.
Yeah.
It's like, how dare you?
Yeah, for the sake of a good story.
Yeah. Right.
It really blurs the lines between fiction and reality.
It does.
But what's important here is how the writers respond to this confrontation.
Yeah. How do they respond?
They don't dismiss his feelings.
Okay.
They don't try to shut him down or anything.
They actually engage with him.
They do.
They help him work through his trauma
That's amazing.
and accept his fictional reality.
Yeah, okay.
They show him that even though his world is made up,
Right.
the connections and experiences he has
Yeah.
are still meaningful.
So it's not just about him, breaking the fourth wall and acknowledging the absurdity.
Right.
It's about him finding a way to live with that knowledge.
And still find value
Yeah.
in his relationships and his experiences.
And it's like he's holding up a mirror to us,
He is, yeah.
forcing us to kind of confront our own anxieties about,
About life.
the meaning of life,
Yeah.
our place in the universe,
Absolutely.
and he does it all while wearing a red and black suit,
Of course.
making inappropriate jokes.
Well, yeah, that's Deadpool.
Yeah.
That's what makes him so compelling.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head.
It's easy to dismiss him as just a wacky,
Right.
fourth wall breaking mercenary,
Right.
but there's so much more going on.
Underneath the surface.
Yeah, a lot more depth.
Yeah, and his journey to self-awareness, it really reflects our own struggles, I think.
Absolutely.
To find meaning in a world that can often feel chaotic and absurd.
It really does.
Yeah.
What I find fascinating
What's that?
is that even though he knows he's a fictional character,
Right.
he still chooses to fight for what he believes in.
Mm.
He still, forms relationships and experiences joy and sorrow,
Right.
and ultimately tries to make a difference.
In his world.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
It raises an interesting question, I think,
Yeah.
about how we define what's real
Right.
and what truly matters.
Yeah. Does knowing that it's all fiction
Right.
make it less meaningful?
Yeah. Does
Yeah.
it?
In a way, it's like Deadpool teaches us that even in a made-up world, our connections and
It's
experiences
going to be real.
can be real.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, he embraces the absurdity of his situation while still finding value in the people
Absolutely.
and relationships around him.
Yeah.
It's like a powerful reminder that even in a world that may feel predetermined or controlled,
Yeah.
we still have the power to choose how we react
And how we connect with others.
and how we connect with others. Yeah.
Yeah.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive
It has.
into Deadpool's self-awareness.
Yeah, we went deep.
Yeah, I feel like we've gone like beyond the surface level humor
Yeah.
and really explored these deeper,
The philosophical
the philosophical implications
ramifications.
of his unique awareness.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
It had.
And it's just amazing how a character who started as like a parody of other superheroes has evolved into such a
I know, it's amazing.
complex and thought-provoking figure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've explored how his traumatic experiences at Weapon X, combined with Loki's mischievous revelation,
right.
led him to this point of self-awareness.
Right.
We've seen how he grappled with the implications of this knowledge and ultimately found a way to kind of embrace it
Yeah.
while still finding meaning and connection in his world.
Yeah. And it all started with this simple question.
What was that?
What if a superhero knew they were in a comic book?
Oh, yeah.
And that one question has just spawned countless hilarious moments.
For sure.
And like we said, opened up a whole world of philosophical possibility.
It really has. Yeah, it challenges us to think about the nature of reality,
Absolutely.
the meaning of existence,
Yeah.
and even the power of storytelling itself.
Yeah. And on that note, I think it's time to leave our listeners with a question
I like that.
of their own, something to ponder
Yeah.
as they continue on their own explorations of comics and the human condition.
I love it. Okay, so
Yeah.
to our
Let
listeners,
me ask you this.
so if you discovered you were a character in a story, how would you react?
Oh, wow.
Would you embrace the absurdity like Deadpool?
Yeah.
Or would you like rail against the fabric of your reality?
I don't know. It's a really good question.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, it really gets to the heart of, what makes Deadpool's story so interesting.
Right.
He makes us kind of confront the boundaries of our own perceptions
Yeah.
and imagine like what it would mean to live in a world
Right.
where fiction and reality are constantly blurred.
It's like he's giving us permission to question everything.
Yeah.
Even the very nature of our existence.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who knows, maybe by like exploring these questions through Deadpool's eyes,
Yeah.
we can gain a new perspective on our own place in the universe.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
Because even if we're all just characters
Right.
in some grand cosmic narrative,
Right.
it doesn't mean our experiences are any less real
Exactly.
or meaningful.
And that's a powerful message to take away. From this whole deep dive,
It really is.
we've learned that Deadpool's journey to self-awareness isn't just a gimmick.
No.
It's a complex and thought-provoking exploration of identity,
Right.
reality, and the power of stories themselves.
For sure.
And it's a reminder that even when we're faced with the absurdity of our situation,
Yeah.
we can still find meaning
Absolutely.
and connection and a reason to fight for what we believe in,
Just like Deadpool.
just like Deadpool.
Yeah.
So to wrap things up, we've had a blast unpacking the origins of Deadpool's, unique perspective.
We have.
From those dramatic Weapon X experiments to his mind-bending encounter with Loki.
Right.
We've explored the psychological impact of those events and how they ultimately shaped him into the character we know and love.
It's been a wild ride.
It really has.
And I hope you, our listener, have enjoyed joining us on this exploration of Deadpool's self-awareness.
Absolutely.
Remember, it's all a story.
Right.
But that doesn't make it any less real.
That's a great point to end on. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.